I do not know why they removed this. I want to know when somebody gets a crazy environmental or somebody falls off the map. Please, 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 please. Overwatch 2 has added a lot of stuff to the game of Overwatch since it released and since compared to Overwatch 1. And I think that one of the aspects that goes a little bit underlooked when these new things are added are the UI elements that are added with them, or at least changed because of them. Now, I'm not going to talk about the in-game look or really just the general aesthetics of them. I feel like that is a conversation that has been talked about to death, basically, about some people prefer the old style. I think most people probably do. Some people prefer the new style, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff that was in Overwatch 1 is still here and functionally the same. But what I want to talk about are a couple of UI things that I think definitely need some improvement, and most of these are just from Overwatch 2, mainly because they are things that are related to additions to Overwatch 2, like the Battle Pass or stuff like that, right? So it's not necessarily like demonizing Overwatch 2's UI design. I think overall it's still pretty good, but there are a couple of really specific things that I think that there can be some definite improvement on. So I want to start off with what I think is probably the biggest one, and that is about how cosmetics are presented to the player. Now, this is going to be about the Battle Pass, but before I go in there, I want to kind of paint a picture for you. In Overwatch 2, I feel like I always forget that I have a bunch of cosmetics, and I never think to really equip them, even though I'm unlocking them in the Battle Pass and stuff like that. So I'll go in the maps and I'll be like, I'm trying to emote on Juno, or I'm trying to emote on a character just from Overwatch 2, even like a Kiriko or something, and I don't actually have any emotes equipped, and so I just do like the heroic and throw the papers up or whatever, and I'm just like, wait, but I should have a bunch of stuff for this character. Obviously, I know about all the skins, but I was thinking about it, and when you think back to the old loot box system, something that it did really well was present you the items in your face, individually. Right? So you would open up a loot box. It's this big pomp and circumstance. They all fall to the ground. And then for some of the stuff, specifically skins, you can see the skin laid out and you know what that one is. And that's kind of like the big thing. But for the other things, you see like, oh, I got a voice line for Winston. Oh, I got a victory pose for Widowmaker. Right? And if you played those characters or you were intrigued by those characters, then you would click on it and it would instantly show you what you got, right? So it presented a new thing to you. And then it also was like, hey, this is a new thing. And it had like a marker, basically, like if you didn't click on it, it would still say like it was new. So you should go click on it. And there was like a clear all button. But basically, it encouraged you a lot more in that system to actually look at the things that you got and then equip them right away, right? In my opinion, in Overwatch 2, when you open up the Battle Pass, now ignore my degen Battle Pass that's already nearly at a level 100, but let's just take any random thing here. So let's say I was at level 52, I played for a couple hours today, did a couple weeklies, I got to level 58. What would happen is that you're forced to go into the Battle Pass to unlock your items, but then all you see is this bar go up and a bunch of things pretty small at the bottom increase. It's not really changing the UI design. It doesn't do any like big special effect. It's just some sound effects play, but it just kind of shows you. And there's no incentive to actually look at the individual things on here. And even the ones that you can see, they're very small. I mean, look at this Sigma banner. Like I can't even like tell what it is. But basically the items are not really thrown in your face as much, so you're not as inclined to even know that you have them, especially like something like the Battle Pass where you're always kind of working towards one individual thing. Like let's say, for example, here on this screen, this Sigma skin, I think the Sigma skin is sick. When I look at a Battle Pass, I'm always looking at the skins, not so much the other stuff. Maybe the highlight intros, but kind of depends, right? In loot boxes, it's just kind of all random, so you might just get a box full of junk. But at the same time, that's the only time that junk is going to be like shown off to you, right? When I go here, the only thing I actually care about is how close I am to the thing I want, right? The game does not do a good job of showing you the cosmetics that you actually have and making you want to equip them. So I propose that we can just keep the battle pass however it is, but I think you shouldn't have to go into the battle pass to unlock them. What I think they should actually do is that in the post-match stuff, if you unlock an item after that match, it should show you in the, like, you know, like between your stats and stuff before you queue into the next game. It should show you big, bright, like what you got, what the new thing is. Like, you unlocked this thing, right? It shows you when you level up, but it needs more bite. It needs a little bit more to it to actually like really drill in that you got this new thing. Show it off to you, show you that it's easy to equip. I think there was like an equip button on the other in Overwatch 1, but here it doesn't actually like show me like I can't equip this here. You know what I mean? Like I can't equip this from this screen. I have to go into rewards or go somewhere else. It's an extra step between the player and the interaction, and it prevents a lot of people from doing it. And I think that's why a lot of people like myself are just so far removed from these items. See, here we go. You have to go into here to equip it. You can't just like look at it like this. You have to go into another thing. It's just like really awkward. There's a lot more to it. So that's kind of like the cosmetic stuff. I think they really need to work on about how they show cosmetics off to the player, because they spend a lot of time on these things. And I think that they should be shown more. I think the current cosmetic environment is way too skin driven, and there's a lot more stuff that I think people are really going to like and that they probably already have. They just need that push to know that they have it and to be more excited about it than the zero effort that they have right now. Okay, so another thing about the battle pass that I forgot, on prestige tiers, you see right here, it's once you hit level 85, you get this. Once 95, you get this, so on and so forth. Little gripe here, I'll show you this one, 105. I don't know what level I am on the battle pass. It shows me the, what's it called? The XP number that I have towards the next one. But then I have to like do the math in my head, and like, this is hard. This isn't hard. This is like just under 97. But like when you're over here at like the 175, and then you're like, okay, I'm like 13,500 to the next one. So like 175 plus 13, that's going to be like 188, right? It's like, why is there not just like, it shows me what actual level I am, or like maybe some ticks on this bar that show me how many levels. Anything like that. I feel like that's just a weird omission that has lasted way too long. Like, I can't believe this has never been fixed. This is like how it's always been. Just really awkward, really strange to me. Okay, another thing that I think needs to just change already. Patch notes. Why are they hidden in the options menu, or in the options menu? This menu. I feel like patch notes are important and are something that it's great to have in client, because they didn't do this in the past. You had to go look online. But why can't we just have a button right here? You know what I mean? I feel like that's just so easy. Just throw the most recent patch notes right here. I think it's really awkward, especially since you can't view the patch notes in a match. What is the point of putting it on this menu in the first place? It is only ever something you're going to be looking at when you're not doing anything else. So why not just put it right here in front of people so they can see it more often? And when there's a new patch notes within like maybe a couple days, a week max, you have like a little glowing thing showing you, ooh, look, new, you should check out the new patch notes. Encourage people to engage with some of the balance changes in this game. I think that would be a much better solution than just hiding it in this menu's options. Okay, let's talk about the hero unlock screen. Now, I think this is pretty fine. You can see how many, like, you can see your progress towards the unlocked total for each hero. But let's say, for instance, my Doomfist, right? I have a lot of unlocks for Doomfist, but I want to see what I'm missing, right? Probably some random sprays, you know, some little stuff. And then I go in here and I go to, like, you know, I'll go to those sprays, right? And there's, as you can see, 362 out of 535 total. But I'm looking for the Doomfist ones. So which ones are the Doomfist ones? Well, I can see ones that are like somewhat related. Some of these are for Doomfist only, but some of these are just common, like regular ones, right? They're all kind of like mixed together, and there's no real thing that filters out by hero. You know what I mean? It doesn't filter out by hero specific. It only filters out by like type, right? So if I were trying to figure out what things I'm missing specifically for Doomfist, I just kind of can't. Like, it's just this kind of weird, like, I just have to scroll and scroll and scroll and look like, is this specifically for Doomfist? Is this one specifically for Doomfist? Etc., etc. I think there's a lot more that they need to do. At least just add like something where I can see like what is specifically for this character that I'm on. That doesn't matter if it's global or not. Because if you're going to show me that I have a certain percentage done with Doomfist, I want to be able to track that. I don't know why there's no way to track that. And I think some of these numbers are weird because some of them are shop things that might not show up in the list all the time. Just some weird decisions here about this kind of stuff. Okay. Now, as we know, heroes in Overwatch have achievements, right? Every hero in Overwatch has 2 achievements tied to their pixel and their cute sprays, right? That is just kind of how it works. Let me go to my profile and go to achievements, right? You can see all the achievements. These are all the ones that are on Steam. I'm only missing one. Adrenaline Junkie is just so goddamn hard. I don't know why. But I can see everyone. So I can go to tanks and I can see all the tanks, right? That's the one I'm missing. Supports, I can see all the supports. Whatever, right? But you may notice here, Venture is not on the damage roster. Ilyari and Juno are not here, and Mauga is not here. Even though they have achievement-based stuff for their things. Well, that's because achievements as we know it, like PlayStation, Steam achievements, are not getting updated anymore. They're just not going to add them. So these are the actual achievements for like the platforms and Steam in-game for Overwatch. Where they've moved to, the new ones, is to Hero. So this is a completely different tab. This is in Challenges. This isn't in Achievements. Then you go to that hero and you click on the specific hero. You hit General and it shows you what you have. But if you go to a hero from before, they don't have that tab. So the achievement things are split between 2 different separate menus, completely out of the way. And it doesn't tell you which character, especially like if you're new to the game, you would have no idea which characters are going to be in which thing if you were trying to track that kind of stuff, right? I think the easiest solution is to just add, you would have your achievements tab as it is to track all the big achievements that aren't going to change, but just add the general tab and show you those achievements in the hero stuff too. I feel like that's so easy, right? That is something that I would really, really want them to take a look into, because like I didn't even know like what Juno's achievements were or stuff like that, right? Like it's hard to track them. I want to go to the thing that says achievements. I don't want to go to the challenges. Challenges to me indicates something different than achievements. But anything that they pick, I just want them to be all in one location. That is specifically about me. This is something that I care about deeply. But I know this is, for the most people, not going to be that much of a big deal. Okay. Let me see what I have here. Oh, okay. When you go to your social, let's say you had a terrible game and you left the game, or not early, but you left the game and you're like, oh, I needed to ban or block somebody. You would go to your last match and find that person, right? Let me say I wanted to block this Roadhog. Now, please don't look at me playing Roadhog here. That was because I was very, very frustrated and I just swapped. I get it. I counter swap. I didn't counter swap. I swapped to Hog because he was on Hog. But like, anyways, that brings me to my point. I wasn't on Hog for more than 30 seconds, but it tells me at the end of the game that my character played was Roadhog. So if I'm playing this game, or like, let's say I log off and I come back in my last play game, oh, I need to not pair up with that person on my team. Let's say this person that played Ana, right? I remember she played Ana the whole game, but she swapped at the very end to Lucio. So what I'm seeing over here is like Lucio's a bad example because we had a Lucio. She swapped at the very end of Kiriko, right? So I'm only seeing Kiriko and Lucio. I'm like, was that the right game? I don't know if that was right because it says they played Kiriko. Why is there not like a more detailed breakdown of the characters that they played? Because ending on just the last played character is probably going to confuse a lot of people, especially if somebody is playing something the majority of the game, they swap, and the other person in that role swaps onto that thing instead. So now you're thinking, oh, my Reaper sucked, but this person is not actually the Reaper that was sucking the whole game. It was actually this person, and this is the person you want to avoid. So I think that this just needs like a little bit more breakdown, of the characters that they played, so you actually kind of know like who is who when you're not like exactly sure or remember, right? Because if it's like immediately after the game, you can probably remember, but it's a little confusing and a little unintuitive, and I think I would change that. Okay, let's talk about the history tab. Now, I think the highlights is fine. The game reports is fine. I don't know why the game reports and the replays are separate, but whatever. My big issue is that trying to find replays is really unintuitive. And it's not finding your replays, it's trying to import them. When I'm thinking like I want to import somebody else's game, my mind doesn't exactly go to, I need to go to where my games are played, right? I just need to find the import button, basically. So going into my career profile, going to my history to then import somebody else's game, in my mind is a little backwards and doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that the replays tab needs to exist outside of your history, right? I think replays, probably not like a tab on the main page, even just like a little button up here for like replays. It just brings you right to the replay screen, so you don't have to go through all that junk of going through your profile. You can go right to the thing instead of having to kind of think about it for a second. It's very minor. It's not that big of a deal, but it always does confuse me and trip me up a little bit. Again, it's a little unintuitive trying to find it for the first time. And even, I always forget. I have to go like, wait, where do we, oh yeah, history. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. Okay, here we go. Look on the homepage. You see all these currencies? Please don't look at the numbers. I'm very embarrassed about the numbers. Anyways, these are not the only currencies in the game. There are competitive tokens. There are legacy competitive tokens. There are Overwatch League tokens, which still exist and you can still use, because if you still have them, it's not going to show you them. Actually, in fact, let me show you that. This is a perfect example. So, if I have to know how many competitive points I have to go into the weapons, find a weapon, and then it will finally show me, right? Both types. If I want to know how many Overwatch League tokens I have to go all the way over here. I actually didn't know this was here, because when you go to a certain skin, oh wait, it's actually just very small and blue. So I didn't recognize it was up here. But basically, why can I not just click on this and it shows me all of my purge? It just shows me every single currency under the sun. I believe that's way easier to track. Now, again, that one's really nitpicky, and it shows you the coins when it matters. But sometimes I just kind of want to see it at a glance. Like, I don't want to have to like go hunt them down. Again, very small thing, very minor nitpick. And honestly, the owl token one was pretty unfounded, and I was just blind right before filming this video. I still think there should be one centralized place to see all your currencies. And also, it just kind of shows you the stark contrast between all of them, because they kind of blend together in your mind. So when you can see all of them at one time, and you'd be like, God, there's a lot of currencies in this game. It's kind of weird. Okay. And then one crazy minor thing. Has this ever happened to you? Okay, I'm going to go to the training range. So let me just, I'm just casually. Oh no! I hit the tutorial and I didn't hit back in time. And now I'm loading in the tutorial. Can we just put this in the first slot? People are going to the practice range way more than they're going to the tutorial. I understand that for a first time on board, the tutorial being first makes more sense. I think if you have done the tutorial once, or you have at least a certain hour threshold in the game, you should swap these so that the practice range goes first. And in fact, maybe the tutorial goes all the way to the back. Something like that. because really you don't need to do the tutorial more than once. It is not very in-depth. There is nothing it's really showing you. Let's get rid of it. Let's just move it over to the side. I don't want to think about it. I just want to get on this tab, click the first thing. I want to train, right? Alternatively, you could just get the practice range its own button on here, so I don't even have to do that at all. I think that could be a fine solution. It might make this a little crowded, but no, in here, I think that's a fine solution. Also, when I think of training, practice range, I know these are all training, but when I think of training mode, I think of a practice range. It's a little more intuitive to put the practice range first, in my opinion, for the vast majority of your players. So, and then one more thing, this is not a unique thing. Please bring back the falling icon for when somebody falls off the map in the kill feed. Please, I do not know why they removed this. Sometimes I get confused, but I want to know when somebody gets a crazy environmental or somebody falls off the map. I think it was removed so people, I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's trying to like stop embarrassment about people who accidentally like jumped off the map, but it's like, I know Zenyatta can't kill himself. So when I see that Zenyatta just dies to nothing, I know he jumped off the map. Like that, you know what I mean? So it's not doing anything. If that's what you're looking for, please. I want it back. It's fun. They brought back On Fire. I'm sure they could bring back an even easier system to implement. That's it. That's all I have. Okay, anyways, what are your personal gripes with the Overwatch UI? Anything you want to see added? Anything you want to see changed? Please let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe while you're at it. I stream live, twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays is when I'm live. Always something to talk to me about. This was not stream live, but I typically like to do a discussion every time. And also join my Discord. It is in the link below if you want to send me a hot take, you want to send me a replay code to take a look at and give you some free coaching, or if you want to send me a rework idea, anything like that, talk about Overwatch down below. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.